Guys, welcome to another fragrance video. Today's video we're going to be talking about my favourite subject, which is, of course, if you've seen in my others, Aventus. Aventus is one I've covered in a couple of videos now, and its clones, which there are many, but I have touched on a couple of times in those that I sort of chased the sort of Grail batches back in the day. I bought my first bottle back in 2015, loved it. Bought it again about a year and a half later, wasn't the same. Looked online, was not the same, and then that opens up a massive can of worms, and you can see all the differences. It's well documented in between the Aventus you would buy today compared to the Aventus you might have bought 10 years ago. So what some people, saddos like me, have done is try to buy the batches of before. Just to give you a little cover story on that, the reason it changed, or one of the reasons it changed, was the EU banned a few of the chemicals excuse me, that fragrance manufacturers could use in the process of making them. One of them was, there was birch tar, I think fresh pineapple, there things like that, and many others were banned. So can't put too much hate onto Creed. Certainly can about the price of the stuff, but not about the fact they couldn't make it as it was, because they just weren't allowed to. But that didn't stop us saddos from going and looking to try and find these, as I said, these sort of Grail batches. Now, I have touched on this before, that it's almost pointless now trying to, because there's, that where do you go? Okay, so I want to find out this Grail batch of Aventus. I want to find a 2015 X01, X21, maybe a 14G11, something really, really good, or even further back, the 12s. But where do you go? We're going to go eBay. It's a minefield, because people are scammers. There are people will sell their empty bottles unwillingly. Just think, I'll sell my bottles finished. These people buy them, they'll fill them full of whatever and flog them to you for a lot of money. And so that's one way they'll get you. Or there were fake bottles and fake perfume inside, fake fragrance inside. That was all coming over. That was back in 2017, 18, they were doing that. Maybe even before. I mean, I didn't get onto Creed until late 2015, but certainly the fake scene's been massive, because it was such a popular fragrance. Obviously, anything that's popular is going to get faked, and boy, did they fake it. So pretty much anything you buy on eBay, you've got to be so careful with, so careful, to the point where I got burnt once. I did manage to get my money back, and that was on a 15X01, which was one I really wanted. My first was a 15X21, but I just gave up on finding that. But I thought, if an X21 comes up or an X01, I'm going to jump on it. Bought one, got burnt on it. It was 100% fake, or that was in a genuine bottle, and got my money back. So I kind of gave up. But it was interesting. I'm going to try and keep this short. I know I ramble. But a little while back, a couple of weeks ago, I was just on eBay, just having a little sniff around. I do buy and sell a few fragrances, and I just thought, I'd just see what's going on the Aventus scene at the minute. And as always, there's fakes, 18G11s and whatever else, all on there, fake, some maybe not, but I didn't look at them close enough to sort of go any further. And then I saw an advert for a 15X01, fake. Instantly in my head, it's fake. It's the most faked batch. So I thought I'd have a look, but the guy had 24 photos of it on there. And I thought, that's interesting. I had a look through the photos, certainly looked genuine enough. I mean, there's a few little things you can look at with the pictures of the bottle and box and stuff. You can pick up straight away if it's a bad fake, or even just a normal fake. But no, they all look pretty good. Read the guy's description. Wow. I mean, this guy wrote paragraphs upon paragraphs about it. And I thought, do you know what? And he wasn't asking crazy money. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't like stupid money. I mean, I've seen these things go up to £2,000, so, but it wasn't anywhere near that. So I gave the guy a message. Now, before I get into going further, and yes, I did buy it, but before I go any further, I'd spoken to a few of my other Aventus loving pals, and we'd all come to the conclusion now that basically, and I've even said it in the videos, they're gone. Like, those batches are gone. Anyone who's got it is keeping it, or the rest of it's just gone. It's not fine. It's finite, isn't it? So it's they're gone now. And the only way you would find one, if it was someone who had so much money that they bought a bottle, put it in a cupboard, maybe they'd fallen on hard times, or they'd given it to a friend, or gifted it to someone, and they were selling it. Other than that, you were never going to find it. ever. Well, that's kind of the situation I came in when I spoke to the guy that I bought this from, and here it is here. Now this is a 15X01 and it is in immaculate condition. I'll just give you the backstory on the guy. I'm not going to name him, but he certainly is in the public eye. He certainly was. He's sort of a bit of a recluse now, not in a sad way, but just like wants to be away from the public eye now. I was kind of sworn to secrecy on his name, and I will abide by that. Yeah, a really interesting guy. I was lucky enough that he was only about 40 minutes drive from me. That's why I thought this is going to be worth to go and have a look. And he said to me I wouldn't sell it out to anybody just on eBay or anything like that, because they could empty it and, you know, send back some crap and get their money back. And he's right, eBay will always side with the buyer. So he said he needed someone to be able to come round and see it, and that's what we did. I went round. He said, look, even if you don't buy it, that's absolutely fine. And basically, he, you know, cut a long story short, he was just gutted that the batch that he bought, the one that he bought, was the most copied batch out there, which is a 15X01. I mean, I've even got the original John Lewis receipt here with the date and everything on it. I mean, everything was totally legit. I mean, I will know a fake, and this is 100% legit. The guy's barely used it. Yeah, so the deal was done. You might as well have a look at it while I'm here. But it's almost like, I mean, it is patinaed slightly. I mean, there is a few little marks and knocks on it, as you'd expect. I mean, it is 9 years old, but you've got your cards and stuff there. I mean, but they're always faked on the fake ones. You get the fake cards. Although, just while we're here, the fake cards, of which I have seen, they're generally thinner. And also these pictures of whoever Creed, the fellas, they're on here. They're embossed. It's lovely. Whereas on the fakes, they're generally, it's a photocopy, again on thick paper, but that'll be a photocopy. So the box, just run through a few little key points here. When on the fake ones, this insert here is generally white, and the inside of the box is white. Whereas obviously, as you can see on a genuine Creed one, it's always black, very thick. On the fake one, fake ones that I've seen, they're quite a thin sort of cardboard, but this is quite a substantial one. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's Creed. Their packaging isn't the best, but it's certainly a lot better than the fake stuff out there. An interesting point: this little flap here that goes over the cap, that's intact. That's the first time I've ever seen that. That's how little this was used. Let's pull her out. As he actually said to the bishop, in typical Creed style, you will get a wonky cap. On some of the fakes I've seen, the caps fit really nicely, but it's one of the things with Creed. You know, there's half a way it's going to be genuine if the cap's crap. So that's good. But yeah, this is and this is her. I don't know if you'll be able to see in the camera, but you can see the markings at the bottom, and that's just your batch code and some sort of obviously office supplied numbers on the bottom there with your 15X01. And wow, I mean, it's stunning. I mean, stunning. Well, funny enough, when I got round to see the guy, he had a big magnifying glass out and a torch. He said, Chris, I want you to go over everything, and I want you to look at it and be totally happy before you buy it. And but I could tell almost straight away it was genuine. And yeah, and I'm very, very happy about that. This is in the 120ml sort of version bottle they did. I mean, this is my 17S01, and that's like 100ml one. That's the sort of standard sort of bottle you'll see nowadays. So you can see it's more. I mean, I would say in there's probably about 105ml. So yeah, I mean, it's I'm just really lucky. I mean, I really don't see how. I just couldn't believe my luck. But I'm a bit poorer now. I'm not going to tell you what paid for it, but because my wife does watch these. But it was oh yeah, it was a fair few quid. But do you know what? Sometimes in life things are worth it, aren't they? And that's that. They are, to me, they are. But again, and I'm sort of practicing not what I preach here, but if you are looking to go for a legendary batch, or you do want you do want to go after, like I said, one of these the sort of Grail batches. My absolute advice to you is to join a Facebook group, of which there are many. And the only way you'll do it is by getting a decant, probably, unless someone really does want to sell a bottle. Please don't go down the eBay road. The only way I would say to go down suggest go down the eBay road is if you are close enough that you can actually go and see it in person, because otherwise there's 99% chance that you are going to buy fake. And sometimes unwittingly from people will get it. Sometimes the juice inside, I mean, it's not horrendous, obviously it's not Aventus, and they just don't realise, but so they'll sell it on, but 99% of the time you're going to get scammed. Either way, you're going to waste your money. So that would be my advice. Join a Facebook group. There's many on there, on Facebook, whichever country you're in. I would imagine they're going to be in every country. There's certainly plenty in the UK and the US, but that would be my advice. But what am I going to do with this now? I mean, I bought it. It almost feels like it's been a long time. I mean, I bought some wonderful batches over the years, and I bought a few and sold a few. I don't know what to do with this. It's so good, so strong. I mean, I spray this on I do a test. I've got some test strips. I do one spray, see how long it lasts. I put it in a cupboard, see how long it lasts. I know obviously certain fragrances work better on skin than they do on paper. But this one, about 3 days this lasted. Now, normally I'm happy if it will last a 24 hours on paper. This did 72 hours. It's strong as an ox. My wife, I sprayed a little bit on my wrist when I was testing it out, and my wife smelled it as soon as I walked through the door. I mean, I could still smell it on my wrist in the morning. That's when Aventus was really good, really strong stuff. But yeah, so that would be my advice for if you're buying it. So, and the other thing is, don't ever buy one in one of these bottles because they are too easy to refill. I mean, this is obviously a genuine. This is mine. But yeah, don't ever buy one in one of these because it's way too easy to refill that. Or just on a side note, if you do buy an Aventus and you're going to go and check, one thing to check is this on these particular sprayers. They're not sort of gripped in. Like you'll see on some of them, they're gripped over, so they're actually pressed into place. And the only way to get it is to sort of break them, so you can tell that they've been, obviously they're tamper-proof. These were the newer ones, so these came around, I think, about 2015, 2014, 2015. Now these, you can take these off. Now you can get a pair of mole grips, you can pull them off, seen it done, and then they get placed back on, but there will always be markings on there. Now if you see some unscrupulous markings and scratches, like there are a couple on mine, but actually no, it's just dust. But if you do see unscrupulous markings on there, then you know that maybe something's amiss, because it certainly won't come from those because they don't grip it enough to warrant that. So yeah, so just be mindful. I mean, as always, if there is something you're looking at, if ever you want to ask me a question or anything like that, I mean, I have been down that rabbit hole many times. But yeah, so I just thought I'd give you a little update. So yeah, I did get a 15X01. I've been saying I wanted to get a 15X01 or X21 for a long time. Finally got one. Yeah, so end of an era. Well, no, because I'll probably still carry on collecting it. But anyway, so well, thanks very much for watching. I will be doing a couple more uploads this week. And yeah, thanks very much. Speak soon.